Peace, 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 y'all. This is Empress, Coach Rena Nicole, and this is the AM Inspiration Show to wake that ass up, period. Yes, and we are streaming live on all networks now. Today, the topic is, should you be falling in love with your best friend? Yes, we are still in Friendship Week, and we're about to come to a close tomorrow. Keep that in mind. But we're going to be talking about, should you be falling in love with your best friends, the pros and the cons. With that being said, listen in, tune up, use the comment, share, like, and get up on that link and come through to StreamYard so we can hear what you got to say. With that being said, let's get this conversation going, flowing, and growing. Period. Okay? Yes. I'm so happy to be here. It's Thursday. Happy Thursday, everyone. So we're going to literally talk about the pros and the cons on falling in love with a friend. Well, your best friend at that. A lot of people, they always say, you should fall in love with your best friend. And, unknowns to a lot of people, there's a lot of cons to that. So a whole lot of cons to that. And there's a whole lot of pros to that as well. But the cons is the ones that's going to have you tripped out for a second. Like, wait a minute, hold up. Dun, dun, dun. Exactly. It's going to have you mind boggled, have you sitting there thinking like, I just may need a minute. Exactly. Now, with that being said, when you think about how it could be like, I had like having have friends that are really extremely close to you in your intimate partner relationships, and they are like considered your best friends, right? But you're thinking like, damn, it would be so hard not to fall in love with this person. This person is the bomb.org, right? And they've been with me through thick and thin. And I just really value this person. I appreciate them. I love what they have to offer. And I'm very grateful that they're in my existence, okay? So, because they care for me and they protect me and they love me in spite of everything that I may feel is a shortcoming of myself. Hello? Is this thing on? Period. Okay? Now, the whole other thing about that is that you can have someone as a best friend, right? And they not be your best friend. I've went through that, personally, where I'm like, oh, this is my best friend. And they're like, oh, hey, I want you to meet my best friend. And you're just, and you're just sitting there and it's like, exactly. So that's one of the times, and we're gonna definitely get into this. Why would it be? What is the pros and cons of falling in love with a friend, right? With your best friend, right? So just keep that in mind, right? So definitely. It's so many pros to this. It's so many pros to this, but then again, when you think about the cons, it's like, Okay, so let's talk about it some more, because literally you're spending a lot of time with someone. You may have things in common, your interests, or you have complementary personalities, right? So it's easy to fall in love with them. Easy. It's not something that's hard. It's tender, it's saucy, it's juicy, it's sensual. It's all those things you need it to be, period. Okay. It's all those things that you need it to be. So it ebbs and flows, right? And that's the whole entire point of it all, is the ebb and the flow. Like, if you're not having that ebb and flow within that connection, then it's going to be kind of difficult to even be like, you know what, this is what I desire, this is what I want, this is how it's supposed to be. If you don't have that ebb and flow, then it's going to be extremely difficult for you to have a connectivity with your best friend, point blank, period. End of story, end of sentence, whatever you want it to be. The end of is definitely the end of it. It's like literally the all's all to be all when it comes to those types of things, right? So just keep that in mind, that you need to have that connectivity in a mutual way for you to be in that loving, fulfilling relationship with your bestie, right? Okay. So keep that in mind. That's all I'm saying. Just keep it in mind. Right. So with that being said, if you even start off like as regular friends, just like personal friends, just having an intimate friendship, and not that romantic, that romanized relationship, your feelings can change over time, right? So when you tend to fall in love with your best friend, it can be a natural progression. And when you become intimate with your best friend, you take the risk of ending the friendship if that romantic relationship does not work out. Hello? One more time. When you become intimate with your best friend, you take the risk of ending that friendship if the romantic relationship dies. Okay? It means that you should always decide not to date your friend if you feel there is a genuine romantic connection. Hello? There's just a lot to think about when deciding whether to move forward into a new kind of relationship with your friend, right? It's imperative to remember you can be great friends with someone, but not a great romantic match. Hello? So, if you have that imperative friendship with someone, you can be putting a lot on the line by trying to take things to the next level. Is this thing on? One more time for the people on the back. Period. If you have an imperative of friendship with someone, you can be putting a lot of things on the line by trying to take things to the next level. Hello? Now, the con of this, right? What's the con, right? Empress, what's the con? Empress, what's the con? So the con is if you're dating someone that you formed a close, intimate friendship with, they may no longer be able to fulfill that role as a best friend. The dynamic will inevitably shift to some degree, right? So if you're on the fence with someone about dating your best friend, you really need to sit back and reevaluate about whether it's worth that risk of having that void where your best friend used to be. Okay, in case it don't work out, because they're not going to be bothered with you once they get to know you on that kind of level. I'm just telling you, they're not going to want to be bothered with you on that kind of level. Hello? We like to be real here, but we do not promote delusionalness. Okay, we do not promote chaoticness here, right? So a pro about it can be a pro about having a best friend in a relationship is that you understand and you overstand what they like and what they desire and what they do not like, right? For the most part, when it comes to friendship, though, keep that in mind. So if you decide to date your best friend, they will already know almost everything about you. There will be no awkward moments trying to get to know each other and figuring out how much you should share and when you should share it. Hello? You know, the other person that accepts you for who you are. They understand your authenticity. They know that you're intentional about certain things. They see they see your boundaries and they align with your standards. Another thing is that they understand what makes you happy and what frustrates you the most. You are definitely aware of their past relationships. Yeah. And on the other end, they probably know about yours as well. Because of these things, you may have more control over the outcome of the relationship because you choose whether to cater to their needs and desires or not. Right. So the con about it is it's going to feel like routine. I don't know if you ever watched the show Gossip Girl. That's one of my favorite shows. When Dan and Vanessa decided to date when they were best friends their whole life, right? They decided to date each other. And dun, 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 They decided to date each other, and Vanessa felt like everything was routine. Like they were going to the same shows, they were going to the same plays, like they always did, and nothing was new, right? So she felt like it was just like, what the hell, right? So learning about a new person can be fun. One of the best things is that couples often, discuss is wanting to get back to that getting to know each other phase when everything was new and exciting, right? So if you're dating your best friend, you may skip that phase. You can start to assume that you know them so well as a person that you forget that you may know them only as a friend. You don't know them as an intimate partner. Hello? And that's when shit started getting real messy. That's when it started getting real messy, right? So keep that in mind. That's when it started getting messy, okay? And you're not able to gauge. You're not able to gauge how to take them on as a partner. And you won't get that unexpected joy of seeing their face light up when you do something kind for them or for the first time or give them something that they like because you already know what they like. So you're already going it's already like you've been together for 20 years already, like an old ass couple, right? So you're not getting those new excitement. You're not getting those endorphins released. So your sex is probably bland. You're not getting all of that stuff that you need to get, right? You may get it for the first few months, from the excitement of being with a friend intimately. But after that, it just die off because it already felt like routine, right? So keep that in mind, right? So the exploration of both of your interests and personalities can be a crucial factor in forming a bond with someone new to you, right? So this is why it's a little wish-washy about falling in love with your best friend. I'm trying to tell you. Hello? Keep dun dun dun. Now, I'll give you another pro. Another pro is less risky to fall in love with someone you know well. So when you fall in love with someone you don't know well, you may be surprised to find out that they aren't the person you thought they were. Hello? It's easy to romanticize what could be, and be in that fantasy bond. And I told y'all we're going to talk about fantasy bonds next week. Hello? We're going to get into it, honey. Yes, period. Now, you may find out that they're deeply in debt, you know, um, and it can also lead to you having these unrealistic expectations, right? And you can have troubles with they can find out that they had troubles with the law, that they're already in a relationship with someone else. These are all the cons to not dating your best friend because you know who your best friend in a relationship with, right? You know, and you don't take the same kind of risk that you would with a best friend you've known for years. If they're your best friend, it's pretty safe bet that you know them in a way that may take you months to know a stranger. Hello? So I mean, that's really the gist of it, right? So my thing about it is that it can like the whole exciting thing. That's another con. That's a big con for me. Like the excitement, it doesn't last long. Like I've noticed, like being with someone you don't know over being with someone that you do know, it's crazy because being with someone that you do know is like you know them. They can't really turn you on that way. Like even if you decide like let's be in a relationship together, let's have children together, let's do these things together. It's like I know their reaction. I know what their reaction is going to be. You can I know that we talk about the four agreements and it's not safe to assume, but for the most part, when it's your best friend, you kind of know their routine, right? You know how they live their life, you know their principles and everything else like that. So, um, for many people, the risk is the reward. They like danger in their existence, right? And excuse me, a lot of people desire for their relationships to start off with intense passions, and they may simply enjoy the mystery of being surrounded by a person they don't know yet. Yes, that's the yes, because you don't know, you know what I mean. So getting to know someone can be appealing, right? And chances are your best friend life holds less mystery for you than that of a stranger. Now, with best friends, you might know each other too well. Not everyone wants to share every detail of their life with someone they're dating. Hello? That's the part I'm talking about. You don't want to give them the keys to hurt you. Your best friend got every single lock in a box. Hello? Huh. They got the weapons. They got the weapons to destroy you. They got weapons of mass destruction. They got the keys to Pandora's box. They got the keys to the Chamber of Secrets. They got the invisibility cloak from Harry Potter. Wow. Exactly, right? So you got to think about this, right? So, um, having someone, know all the details about your existence and you're dating them, that's kind of creepy. And if any of these possibilities make your best friend less exciting for you, you really may want to reevaluate that this person, you just don't have to date them. Just keep them as a friend. Because just knowing that, it's like, damn, where's the surprise gonna come in at? Where's the surprise at? What's the appeal here? When it comes to this relationship. So that's extremely important, right? Keep that in mind. Okay? Yes, you want to keep that in mind. Like, what's important about that, you know? Woo, child, I just thinking about it. It's just like, ah, I just can't, the pro of it is that you have mutual friends. That's a pro. Of course it's a pro. Why wouldn't it be a pro, right? Having mutual friends with them. Of course it's a pro. That's definitely a pro to have because you probably already know each other's, friends and family. And that could be a less of a stressor so you don't have to impress anyone. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do all that impressing the father and the mother, and the grandmothers and the siblings and stuff like that. And you're just already in there. You're already in there like Vladimir. Hello. Like, right. So it's less stressing when dating a stranger. It's likely that you'll have a group of friends that you hang out with together. Therefore, the dynamic won't change as much, right? And it's particularly helpful if you socialize with these people often, giving both of you an outlet through which you can find comfort, right? Oh, yes, we're going to talk about the cons to this, okay? And you're also more aware of how you can fit into their social family circle, right? So think of how terrifying it could be, to wonder if they're going to like you and accept you for who you are, and the ramifications that come with that by having a relationship with a stranger. Okay, so at the bare minimum, this could lead to uncomfortable situations where one of you feels out of place while the other spends time with their friends, right? So in a worst case scenario, you don't mesh well with your family and you and your partner feel like you can't continue a relationship because the stressor is too much to handle, right? Or dun, 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 let's get into that. You have no one to go to because you have mutual friends. So that's definitely a con. Excuse me. It's a con because you have no one to talk to that's outside of your friend group because you share mutual friends. So it's always going to travel back to your partner. And I'm not saying that it's okay to just sit there and talk about your relationship, but we're all human. We're all human, and sometimes our relationships come up. And sometimes sometimes we share, sometimes we overshare, but you don't want to run the risk of sharing with mutual friends. So when you show up together, they're looking at you crazy because you may have said something that was a little distasteful about your relationship. Hello, keep that in mind. Or just don't talk distasteful about your relationship in front of other people. And work it out with your partner through effective communication. Hello? Okay. Now, wow. Period, right? Listen, at the end of the day, there is no right or wrong answer when choosing your best friend as a lover, as a love interest, or a partner. But we did give you some pros and cons because those pros and cons are extremely there, right? Because, listen, I remember me back when I met my ex-husband back in the college that we were at, and he was my best friend. And then it was like, oh my God, we got babies together. Now we're married. Like, and we didn't get along. We stopped getting along after we had the babies in the marriage. It's just like, I don't even like you, bro. I don't even like you. Yeah, it was just like, wrong answer. That's what it said. I kept saying off in my head. Wrong answer. So that's just a con, but it was a lot of pros though. This person was a great friend. This person understood what I was going through. This person had empathy, things of that nature. And it was fun. It was always fun. Person was always fun, until they were horrible. Until they were like extremely horrible. Hello. Now keep that in mind. Keep that in mind because it's like your best friend, right? But you also know your best friend is a victim of their relationships that they've had in the past. You only know your best friend in these roles. You don't know your best friend in a relationship. So you may find out that your best friend is the aggressor. Hello? This thing on. Let me check. You may find out that your best friend does not know how to communicate effectively in relationships. You may find out that your best friend is extremely toxic in relationships. Hello? Yes, you may really find out that you don't know that person. Sex changes shit. Hello? Energy transfers changes everything. They change everything. They change everything. I'm just saying it. I'm just telling you to tell you that they change everything. And it seemed like at first they're not changing enough. It seemed like they enhance everything. Until their dopamine start wearing down, until all the adrenaline start wearing down, and you start seeing who they really are in an intimate partner relationship. They're no longer your best friend because they can't show up for you in that way. Now they're showing up for you the same way they show up in relationships with other people. And that's where the frustration comes in at. That's where the frustration comes in at. Now they're showing up for you how they show up in life. Hello? And you're like, damn, who is this person? Who is this person? Hello? Who is this person? Woo! So just taking the time to take them drawbacks and sit back and like, you know what? Let me reevaluate whether I want to risk this wonderful friendship with a relationship, especially if your track record. Oh my goodness, please, please, please think of your track record. If you don't have a track record of like long lasting relationships and you're still trying to figure your own stuff out, leave people alone. One more time for the people in the back. If you are still trying to figure yourself out, it's not saying you don't deserve a relationship. It's not saying that you're not worthy of a relationship. But if you're still not sure on how to be in a relationship with somebody else, don't risk your best friend. Don't risk them. Go risk somebody else. Don't risk them, though. Hello? Well, don't risk your best friend. That's crazy. Why would you want to risk them? Out of all people, them? Nah, don't risk them. Just don't do that, babe. Don't do that. Because once you end those romantic relationships, it's really hard to be friends with somebody. Especially think about all the memories you share with your best friend, all the moments, all the secrets, everything you share with them. And imagining being in a relationship with them and it end. You can't go back to being their best friend because you're still mad that it ended in a relationship with them. You're still having all these regrets. You're still having all this resentment. You're still angry with them. And that's where it get real, real messy. And that's not what you deserve. You deserve better than that. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm saying it's a you thing. You're going to have to use your discernment. You're going to have to figure out what works for you. And that's just that. That's just what it is. It's not going how it's going to be. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? Period, right? So you can't know what will happen in the future. Like we always say on the AM Inspiration Show, to wake that ass up. We always say that when you focus too much in the past, you get all nostalgic. You focus too much in the past, you get depression. When you hyper focus in the future, you gain anxiety. So you can't know. But when you're in that present, you get a balance, your energy, and you get to see how things really are. You're clear sighted. The rose tints are off. And a lot of the times, the issue is that we don't sit in the present when it comes to relationships and our romantic partners. Intimate partner relationships, we get in high off these drugs, these chemical releases in our brain. We get high off the drugs. That's our natural chemical releases in our brain, and we can't see people for who they are. And when the drugs wear down, you're like, why did I do this? So just keep that in mind if you are considering a relationship with your best friend. If this is really a best friend for you and someone you value, and you know that the risk is that you will never speak to this person again if you break up, or the risk is that you might marry this person and have a great life with them. But it's up to you. It all starts with you. Point blank, period, end of sentence. It always starts with you. Okay, now, with that being said, I'm so happy you stopped by today. Okay, I'm so happy y'all stopped by. I'm glad that you came in. I'm glad you came through. Guess what, guys? We are live on Twitter Spaces today. Oh my goodness, yes, we have left Clubhouse behind. Hello, right? So we are live on Twitter Spaces right now. Amongst all the other places, we are finally up on Twitter Spaces. With that being said, if you want to reach out to me and be a guest on this podcast, reach out to me at Divine Intervention Shows with a S at gmail.com. Now, this has been the AM Inspiration Show to wake that ass up, streaming live on all platforms. I am your host, Coach Empress, Rena Nicole of RenaNicole.com, Divine Intervention Show and podcast, thecurve.net, and the Love Experiences. With that being said, we will catch y'all tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace, y'all.